We're very happy tonight to welcome Susan as our speaker. She's a Coptic minister, but also had the first year she's completing of self-mastery as one of the facilitators. She's got a lot of interesting things about her that she sometimes shares and sometimes doesn't. She's the mom of two beautiful daughters, wife, and you do have a lot of nature by where you live, don't you? Yeah, and I think that really seeps into your messages, so I'm really, really happy. Well, okay, then you can feed our soul tonight. Thank you. What she's going to talk about tonight is called Self-Mastery Simplified. Thank you.
Thank you. That was perfect, Rose. Thank you so much. I don't know if I can keep up with the comedy tonight. I'm not known for being funny, so we'll see. We'll see. So, but I know I have a very warm and loving audience, so that makes me feel good. I feel like I'm among friends, so that's always good. As always, I just, John and Nancy aren't here tonight, but I always want to thank them and the Coptic Center for having me, and it is an honor and a privilege to be here, and I do enjoy it. So, and thank you for being here on this beautiful Memorial Day weekend and beautiful sunny day. I know you could be in cooler places at a beach or water or somewhere else, so I appreciate everybody being here tonight. Thank you, Laura Joy. I loved your intro today. Thank you, Alan, for videotaping and for fixing the website. That's huge. So, and Linda, music's always wonderful, so thank you from the heart. Linda's joining me in Self-Mastery next year, so that's exciting. If anybody else wants to come, we'll talk a little bit about Self-Mastery tonight, and we'll see what you think. So, tonight's topic is Self-Mastery Simplified. So I have been facilitating, as Laura Joy said, Self-Mastery this year with Jim Campbell and Benita. And Benita is not going to be with us next year, so it's Jim and I. So, anybody that wants to join in on the fun, that'll be good. But as always with my talks lately, it seems that I really rely on Hamid Bey, because Hamid Bey really has the wisdom and the knowledge that resonates with me and probably with you because you're here, right? So, starting out with some words from Hamid Bey. In the Lesson 101, The Realistic, Visible, and Invisible One, Hamid says, "It is by contacting the many experiences of life that we learn self-mastery. But self-mastery should not be attained to use selfishly, to monopolize the wisdom acquired, but in order that it may be used for the good of humanity. Love, service, and unselfishness are the keynotes for human relationships. The ultimate of human attainment comes with complete self-mastery." So I'll give you some inspiring words on why you might want to consider self-mastery, and I'm sure you all are on that path because you're all here. What really kind of has stood out for me lately is I used to build my life, I used to build spirit into my life. I try to find time to meditate, try to find time to do some journaling or writing, some reading, that sort of thing, and I would build spirit into my life. And now I've kind of flipped that perspective, and I'm trying to build my life around being with spirit, right? So I don't have to think or debate whether I'm going to meditate every morning. I just am. I don't have to think or debate whether I'm going to journal every morning. I just do. So it's kind of a different way of thinking for me because it was so hard for me to work it into my schedule and find the time. And I know how, you guys are all very busy, as I am. I have two teenage daughters, one 13 and 15, both in middle school, and life can get a little hectic. So, just knowing that that's part of my day and planning my day around that as opposed to the opposite is kind of how I'm starting to see things. Self-mastery can be simple, right? Simple's good, but it isn't easy. Does anyone find it easy? It can be a little difficult. We often attempt to work a spiritual practice into our busy schedule. Fitting meditation, prayer, yoga, or a walk in nature into an already tight agenda can be a challenge. In order to reach mastery, a change of direction and perspective need to occur. If we attempt to make time for a daily practice, There will always be items on the to-do list that need to be checked off first. And I love to-do list, and I love to check things off. I'm kind of OCD on checking things off, so that's always out there. The practice may happen sporadically, but for true mastery, the practice must be the foundation of your day. Making mastery a priority by weaving it into your daily routines will effectively change the understanding and outcome of your existence. So Rose started it out perfectly with point number 1, meditation. So very good. She talked a little bit about meditation, and I have another quote from Hamid Bey, lesson 275, the involvement of a master. And what's interesting with Hamid Bey, I have the CD and I have it digitally, so I can type in a word and like master, and then it comes up with all the quotes and all the different lessons. I think there's at least 6 lessons with the term master in them. And that's not to mention all the lessons that have the word master in them without being in the title. But there's at least 6 with it in the title. So it's kind of important to Hamid Bey. And Hamid Bey says about meditation, to evolve as a master, your soul must dwell in universal consciousness without the influence of the intellect. It is for this reason that I stress the importance of meditation. Number 1, simple meditation. And Ralph Gates, one of my favorite authors, says you should meditate every day until you want to meditate every day, and then you should do what you want. Right? Mastery starts in the morning with meditation. Meditation doesn't have to be long. I meditate 20 minutes consistently every morning. Lately, I used to, in the wintertime, I would sit in my sunroom and meditate. Now I've been doing early morning walks in the woods and meditating, doing a walking meditation in the woods. And this morning, I saw more deer than people, which is always a good thing, so. But I walked like this morning because it was so warm. I walked at like 6 o'clock and it was just beautiful out with the sun coming up. So it sets the tone for the day. Often I pray, breathe, Om during this time. If Reiki is part of your practice, then a quick Reiki session or chakra balancing is also a good way to restart the day. Who does Reiki or chakra balancing on a consistent basis? Pretty much, yeah. I kind of go in spurts. Sometimes I do it, sometimes I don't, so it all depends on the mood. Changing the energy from rushing to a moment of calm will help throughout the day. So you start your day off in a different space. If you're starting in a different calm space, then the rest of your day, I find, goes a lot better. So when a crisis or chaos occurs, which with 2 teenage daughters, it's a daily thing. So we have crisis or chaos or drama or trauma every day. Drama. Coming back to this moment will help bring pause to the situation. Meditation at night eases sleep and calms the mind. Who likes to meditate before going to bed? Yes, that's a good time. With breath, the benefits of meditation can be realized in seconds. A moment of meditation is the first simple step to mastery. Number 1, meditation. Number 2, 10 fruits and vegetables, eating healthy. It doesn't have to be 10, but I like 1, 10. You might notice a theme, and then I'm going to go to the next 0 number. So Hamid Bey has a lot to say about eating healthy. If you're familiar with his lessons, he talks a lot about healthy eating and how important that is. And Hamid says, if we ate good vegetation as well as good food, I believe there would be less sickness in the world today. It is my opinion that we kill ourselves mentally and physically by the combinations and qualities of the food we eat, as in the manner in which we think. So, eat right, healthy. And it's not always about taking deprivation, taking things away, but adding to your diet. So thinking in those terms. Although we are all spirit in nature, we have a body. Everyone have a body here? Good, yeah? Okay. How we treat this vessel matters. In order to live a life of mastery, mastering the body is a critical component. Being from nature, we need to eat naturally. It is suggested that we consume 10 fruits and veggies a day, and probably more of the veggie side than the fruit side. If you had 9 fruits and 1 veggie, that probably wouldn't be good. So, without denying yourself anything, attempt to add healthy produce items into your diet. Well, and it's almost summer, so things are going to be starting to come out, which is really good. So, That helps when it's not winter out. Eating healthy brings numerous benefits to your body, mind, and spirit, including stability and vitality. So I find that when I'm eating a balanced diet and I used to have blood sugar level issues and hypoglycemia, and I actually passed out from that particular issue. And I feel like if I eat consistently a steady, stable diet of healthy food, my whole well-being, I just feel much stronger, more focused, more stable. I tend to get a little flighty if you haven't noticed, like I can be up here in space. So it helps me to stay grounded. And that's critical right now. So the next thing, so yeah, 1 meditation, 10 fruits and vegetables, mostly vegetables. 100 words written, creative outlet. So it doesn't have to be words written. It could be music played. It could be whatever your creative outlet is. Mine tends to be writing. So I like writing. You can call it journaling. Does anybody do a journaling practice right now? Yes. Very helpful. It kind of gets the stuff out, right? And my head starts spinning, and when I write it, it just kind of comes out and it calms me down a little bit. So, well, Hamid Bey was an avid writer. Did y'all know that? 1,500 pages with over 340 lessons in the CD, and he has other books and such. But Hamid Bey was a big writer, and English wasn't even his first language. So, in The Power of Being, Threefold Balance for Perfect Living, Lesson 48, Hamid says, "Inasmuch as the spirit is universal, the person who does not express himself by word of mouth has to find some other means of expression, such as writing or painting." Do we have any painters? Yes, Betty. I need to see your artwork, Betty.
Color books.
Yes, for sure. This is because we cannot keep ourselves, for it is against the law of spiritual unity. So if we keep our creative, we are all our creative beings. We're all from the Creator, right? And we're expressions of the Creator, so we are creators ourselves, right? And we're all creative beings. So you need to use that creative expression, and whatever that is. Mine tends to be writing. Linda's is music, painting, drawing. Tom, what's your creative expression?
Coloring.
Do you have one? Oh.
I like to color.
You like to color? Wow. Just like free for all. Yeah, see, that's how I color. I can't no. That's good. So, just, and explore. If you don't know what your creative expression is, there's nothing wrong, so. We'll take a pause here. It's all good. Alrighty. So, lesson 98, magnetism and mesmerism. Every morning when you get up, and every evening when you go to bed, or any time you are alone, say out loud what you want. This is kind of what Helen was talking about. You will then be helped by hearing what you are thinking and believing. Thinking only is sometimes monotonous. Also, by writing as well as talking, your subconscious mind will be impressed by vision, by hearing, and by thought. So.
You're saying it's okay to talk to yourself?
Yes. Except when you're in mire. See, I find myself, I don't know if anyone's like this, I talk to myself in mire. Because it's like a stressful place for me, and I calm myself down, and I'm like, oh, did they? It's kind of
crowd.
Do you?
Myself and I.
Yeah. I know, it's good, I like self-soothing words to myself in those moments. Drawn by the writings of Hamid Bey, I find that we are all kindred spirits. Writing is my creative expression. Stemming from my need to empty the swirling thoughts in my head, I find writing helps me process and place that which dwells within. It is communication with spirit, with myself in the outer world. So I use my writing to talk to spirit. I talk to Archangel Gabriel, who's very much into communication. I write just to write. And I used to write for a purpose. I used to write, I got to write a page a day, and I got to write this for a blog, and I got to write this for an article. And now I just write. And if I use it for a blog or use it for an article, that's fine. And if I don't share it, that's good too. So I write just to write, not attached to expectations or outcomes, only to provide an outer form for my inner landscape. So just bring it out. Perhaps it is a message from Spirit, a lesson for myself, or something I need to share with others. It matters not. What is important to mastery is the consistent practice of showing up and allowing space for Spirit to speak to me. When I write, I don't know the topic. I don't know what I'm going to write about. I just show up. And I usually do it, for me, what works is right after meditation, because I'm kind of in that space. I used to try to write later in the day when I was kind of in a more third dimensional space and had a computer, and it just, I wasn't feeling it. So now I write while I'm still kind of in that that meditative space. So, review. I write on my phone, but it's better to write on your pencil, but I have a hard time writing with a pencil. So it's just me. But if pencil works for you, there are no rules. You know, they say pencil's better, but I'm not a pencil writer. I type really fast. I can't write as fast as I can think. So there you go. That's perfect. Yes. Love that. So we have 1 meditation, 10 fruits and vegetables, 100 words written or some sort of creative expression. So the next number is 1,000. Bingo. And that's good because you said it and you're a big reader. So 1,000 words read. And that's not much. It's like 3 pages. So don't freak out. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, when I write a page, it's like 300 words. So it's like 3 pages. Really? 3 pages. 5 minutes. Come on. The constant trend and progression of human reason will eventually emerge into cosmic spiritual consciousness. Oh, by the way, this is Hamid Bey and not me. Lesson 46. So every little morsel of truth we gain by reading a book or a paper, by attending lectures, will add that much to our knowledge. And since every bit of knowledge adds to our reason, we should reach out further and further into the mystery of truth, and thus attain greater understanding, greater realization for that which is by our own efforts. And that's from In Reason of Development, or Part of Universal Consciousness. That's a good title. So, I like to read. And I like to read inspirational, motivational stuff, and I like to read first thing in the morning. So my kind of routine to get me kind of in that state is I read something first to kind of settle myself before I go into meditation. It's kind of the last thing I do. I read every morning, right before meditation, and at night, right before I go to bed, because to fill our mind with good thoughts when we go to bed while we're sleeping. The readings I select are inspirational and motivational. So Hamid Bey lectures would be a good reading material, and there's lots of it. Often my readings coincide with the lesson I need to hear for that particular day. Who finds that little synchronicity? I read something, I'm like, oh, I needed that, like today, right now. Always a point stands out to me, and I use that to dwell on, which further inspires me to rethink or reconsider an idea where I may have been stuck. Ultimately, reading material such as Hamid Bey's lessons helps me to see the world, myself, and eventually spirit from a different perspective. Hamid Bey's lessons offer practical methods for gaining balance and mastery in one's life. So they're not always just about spiritual stuff. They're actually practical tools, exercises. Remember, we had class this year with Rose, and Rose had a lesson on exercises, breathing exercises and physical exercises. So, yeah. Give it a shot. Check them out. So, where are we? Oh, the next number. So we did 1,000 words read. 10,000. What do you think that is? Steps! And I'm at 8,742. I should be walking around during this talk. It's gonna be a little short. Can I go like this while I'm doing this? So, steps. And people ask me if I like this, and I'm like, it's a love-hate thing with this. I feel like I'm tethered, you know? Like, I like it, but I feel like I'm being watched and monitored, so it's a good and bad, I don't know. But 10,000 steps. Everybody's heard the buzz about 10,000 steps, right? Yeah. No? Really? They say that to stay healthy, you need 10,000 steps a day. Yeah. It's kind of like It's come out in the last year or two to get that 10,000. So movement. You know what? It's actually fairly easy. I can walk maybe 35, 40 minutes and then just go about my day and get 10,000 steps. So it's not like I'm doing a whole lot more. I just add a little 30-minute walk and I'm okay. So, but I'm chasing kids all over the place, so that could be part of it. I don't know.
That might be an hour for the rest of us.
It adds up though. It's amazing. I mean, if I just clean my house, I can get 10,000 steps in a day, which is
Farther from the entrance.
yeah.
If it's
See, you go to Meijer, you park out, you start thinking about this stuff.
Get a waitress job.
No. It is said that we are walking on a spiritual path. So are we walking on our spiritual path? Really? Nathan, you're a big hiker walker dude, so yes.
Yes.
And Jesus walked on water. I haven't done that yet, but walking is a natural state for our body which benefits the mental and spiritual forms as well as the physical. Walking, especially outside in a natural environment, helps to eliminate toxins from our system as we breathe in and out the fresh air, helps improve circulation, all those good things. I walk not necessarily for the health, I do walk for the health benefits, but I find that I have as much or more mental and spiritual benefits from walking. It's kind of like my church. Laura Joyce said I like to walk in nature. I live in the woods and by a marsh. And so this morning I saw a lot of deer, I saw a heron, tons of ducks and all that sort of thing. So it's just very calming for me, which is very grounding. Walking is rhythmic practice, right? Grounding our feet while elevating our spirit. We take to sights and sounds and smells. I heard doves cooing this morning. I just love the sound of doves cooing in the morning. Smell of spring, it's good stuff. Feeling sensations in the body while experiencing spiritual elevation can do wonders for a well-being of a person. I walk in the woods for 30 minutes daily, taking in sunshine and fresh air. Your body needs, wants, and desires to move, releasing the stagnant energies and making room for mastery. So we're not going to go to the next number, but we're going to stop at 10,000. Fair enough? You guys good?
Yeah.
Simple. We got to keep it. It's supposed to be simplified mastery. So you take it a little further. So in conclusion, to find out how far you have progressed on the road to becoming a master, ask yourself these questions. And I will ask you these questions. You don't need to answer unless you'd like to. How much tolerance do I have for my fellow man? Hopefully you can get there before 70. Like that sounded, be kind at 70. I'm hoping that it happens a little earlier. How much patience do I have? That is my challenge every day with my teenagers. Some days is okay, some days is not. How selfish or unselfish am I? How much love do I express? Are you expressing your love or you're holding it back? Are you resentful or not forgiving someone? Have I the ability to control any feelings of resentment or hatred? And this is from Hamid Bey, The Mark of a Master, Lesson 245. He also says, to become a master involves more than just reading a formula. So I gave you a formula, but it's more than that, right? There are things you have to do. The most important thing being is to relax and let God work through you. So I like the Let It Be. Let It Be is one of my all-time favorite songs. And it was just really appropriate for tonight because I just need to let it be because sometimes I don't let it be. So he says, let God work through you because of your faith and reliance in his promises. Grant to your Creator the graciousness of your appreciation of being a spiritual being, endowed with the spiritual power to become a master. And in Lesson 239, he says, God has given of himself to you. That's pretty good, isn't it? Your thoughts are the reflection of this divine essence which exists in you. So are your thoughts the divine reflection? Sometimes. Sometimes not. Universal consciousness dwells in your brain. There is nothing more potential than that, for it is within yourself that mastery lies. So you're all masters, and it's all within you. You can do what you want to do and more. Back to Alan again. Your world is what you make it. This means, in other words, you can if you will. Will you? One last quote from Hammond. When the soul has mastered all the laws of being, it merges with universal or God consciousness. That is the end goal. And with that, I say, namaste.
Thank you, Susan.